Have we become the Avengers, except just a goofier version of it? Have we stooped to the level of comedic, action-packed roller coasters that are just forgettable within the next 2 days? With the release of Godzilla -1, unfair comparisons are being made between that and the Legendary's Godzilla franchise. And to be honest, fine. The character of Godzilla maybe is meant to be different than what he's become, which is essentially a superhero in the Legendary franchise. But I believe that there is a way that we could square things so that the people that want a quality monster film, a great movie, and the people who just want to see monsters fight can both be happy. I believe there's a way we can fix it. Here's how. We gotta resurface where it all began, how it all descended, or ascended maybe, if you're the kind of fan who likes what this franchise has turned into. Godzilla 2014. Legendary's first outing with Godzilla. I like this movie more than most people. A lot of people just find this movie boring, there's not enough Godzilla, blah 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 blah, characters suck, give me more Godzilla. I think the movie is good. I think it could have been better if they didn't freaking just kill Heisenberg himself, Walter White, right within the first act of the film, and just make his less interesting son the main character and have Godzilla only in the movie for 5 minutes. That was a mistake. They should have focused it on these two, father and son relationship, and maybe just 5 more minutes of Godzilla would have probably saved a lot of the optics of this movie in fans' eyes, okay? Kong Skull Island. Alright? Fun movie. Not a deep movie. I would say quality-wise, in terms of a critical film, it's not as good as Godzilla 2014, but a lot of people love it. It did really well in the box office. Great monster action. It doubled down on the monster action, alright? Really good monster action. Fun characters, alright? Samuel L. Jackson isn't even the best character in this, to be honest, nor the funniest. You got Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson before people hated her. Solid outing. Really cool action sequences. Not the best film in the franchise, in my opinion. A lot of people think, this is the best one. I don't think so. I do think it's just a solid action flick. Godzilla King of Monsters. This is a lot of people's favorite in the series. Not mine. Personally, not mine. I will say, I love the use of the Toho monsters. I love the use of Ghidorah. I don't think there are enough fights, but I don't think the fights are done as well as they could have been. Why? They're great, but the problem is there's so many dumb, stupid, annoying human characters that surround it that take away from the fight scenes that are happening that I just end up being really annoyed with the movie. There are a few people, like my guy here, the GOAT, Dr. Hirozawa, which he's the only character I actually like. I hate the family. I hate Millie Bobby Brown's character in this entire series. Just kill her off or get her out, please. But all around stupid, annoying characters. The mom's motivation is really dumb. But the monsters are awesome. I love Ghidorah. I love what they did. The fight scenes are awesome. I just think the human element sucks so bad that it takes away from the movie. Godzilla Kong. I actually really like Godzilla X Kong. This is where we start to just become a goofy roller coaster franchise, like Fast and the Furious did. But you know what? For what it was, it gave me everything I wanted from a Godzilla versus Kong movie. Okay, exciting action sequences. Characters all suck as usual. Millie Bobby Brown just kill her off the. Just some characters are okay. Isa Gonzalez, she's nice to look at, but she randomly is just a villain who gets killed off in 2 seconds. The little girl has some connection to Kong. I guess that's sweet. The characters are just dumb. You're not there for them. All right. You're there for this, and it's done really well. I enjoyed it, okay? And then we get to the one that either will make or break it for many people, okay? A lot of people saw this and were like, okay, this franchise is done. It's just gone into bullshit, all right? What the fuck is this? Look, this movie's just a dumber version of Godzilla versus Kong. Both of them fight together against probably the worst villains in my opinion. Like, I think the Scar King, he was cool. His first entry scene was pretty cool, but then he just became an idiot who just gets ragdolled by everyone, and he's useless. He's useless without Shimu. Shimu is basically just a slave who is just a happy-go-lucky animal at the end of the day. There's nothing to her. She's probably going to be Godzilla's side piece. Yeah, that's it. The villains are nothing, but the fight scenes are pretty cool, and that's about it, okay? Everything else, the characters, he is awesome. Dan Stevens is having a great year, but every other character is just really dumb. Then we got Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I'll be honest, I didn't really finish it. I forgot about it. It was okay. I've heard good things about it. I've heard mixed things. Some people tell me it's unwatchable. Some people tell me it's great. I only watched I watched a couple episodes, and I did watch the final fight where Godzilla takes on that bat ion dragon creature. Great stuff. I guess this series kind of harkens it back to a serious kaiju vibe, but you know, from what I've heard, we can do better, guys. Ultimately, these team-up Godzilla movies are the main piece of the franchise, not the TV shows that they're going to make as a result. It's Godzilla and Kong. All right? These movies can be better. And I know how to fix it. Now, I'm not going to be one of these people who says, okay, we need to be like -1. We need to make things dark, serious, really, we got to be morbid. We got to be sad. It's got to be like a tragic, dramatic movie. No. I know what this franchise is. This is Godzilla and an ape fighting villains together. This franchise has gone to the point where it's too far. Even the Godzilla 2014 movie wasn't anywhere near as serious or dramatic as this, okay? We're not getting philosophical. There is another kaiju movie that we can take lessons from, though. Not -1. Another one, comparing these two is just too much, okay? They're two different Godzillas. I can have my serious Godzilla and my superhero Godzilla and be happy, all right? We can do better. How? We're going to take a lesson from Pacific Rim. The first one. I rewatched the first Pacific Rim a little while back. It's so fun. It's so awesome. It's like the Top Gun of these kaiju movies, okay? If Godzilla -1 is like the Dark Knight of these Godzilla movies, or kaiju movie in general, the modern ones, Pacific Rim is a Top Gun. So fun, or just a really well done movie. And a lot of people think, oh, it's just a cheesy action flick. No, all right? The second one is a dumb pile of garbage cheesy action flick. There's a difference. There is a difference in levels. The second one's a disgrace. The first one's great. Why? It's not just because it has badass kaiju monsters. The monsters in this film look, sound, feel huge. I love them. But the characters are good too. Idris Elba is just good in everything he's in. We can agree with that, right? He's just great in everything. Charlie Hunnam, my boy, Sons of Anarchy fans know him. Like, look, these characters are not annoying. Mako, I think her name is Mika Mako. I'm so sorry if I don't remember her name. She has a great arc. All right? Idris Elba has a great arc. He's a dying man who's trying to save the world, all right? Hunnam's got a great arc. He's a man who's trying to do better after he pretty much got his brother killed in the beginning of the film, right? They're all trying to avenge something. They're all trying to grow. And they're all likable. That's the other thing too. Your characters can be complex, but if they're annoying and dumb as heck, we don't want to watch them, right? I don't want to watch Millie Bobby Brown crying all day. I want to watch some badass soldiers who are flawed and have complex themes going on. I want to see them fight against kaiju, right? We need good characters and some kind of thing that we can relate to besides just monsters fighting, okay? Because that'll make the actual monster scenes impactful. My boy Ron Perlman's also in. The Sons of Anarchy fans and fans in general should know. Hellboy fans, they should know who Ron Perlman is. The cast in this is overloaded, guys. We got caliber actors who have such interesting characters all around. This is cringe. I don't want to see this little girl have some spiritual essence relationship with Mothra randomly. I don't want to see these two dumbasses talk all day and cry about family. Stop! And there's too many characters in the Godzilla X Con. There's too many people I gotta focus on. Let's stick to like 2 or 3 characters, main ones, all right? And you have all these dumb characters just doing their own things and all being annoying. There's no stakes when the monsters fight because we don't feel anything because we don't actually care about any of the humans that are in the surroundings of the destruction. We care about Kong and Godzilla, but we know they're not going to lose, right? It's a superhero movie. It's been established already. You need something different, guys. What happens with our main characters? They fail until they win, all right? It gives us catharsis. We finally we get a win against these kaiju, you know? We got to feel that way with Godzilla X Kong. It is different because we don't have, like, people going into machines and fighting kaijus themselves in this, but we want to see humans, you know, get a victory over the kaiju in the same way that, that's why we like -1, right? Because we felt for the humans when the kaiju hit, right? We don't feel that in any of the Godzilla X Kong movies. But if we take some lessons from Pacific Rim, we can. Now, look. Pacific Rim's got badass kaiju. It's ending. It ends with stakes. People die. All right? People die. And that's the thing, man. We need to see people dying. Not just cities getting destroyed and random buildings that have no one in them getting blown up. Like, we can't just see cities getting destroyed and not care. Here's how to fix it, all right? We can't have Godzilla and Kong be in movies all the time. Now, let's split them now. Let's go back to the beginning days where each of them had their own solo movies. Both of them in one movie, it just becomes like a Power Rangers fest with too many characters on the side. Screw that. We're going to split them. All right? Because what happens when you have one of the main complaints I saw in Godzilla X Kong is Godzilla was like in it for like 3 minutes. He's like this powerhouse who beats everyone's ass, and then it's most of the stories about Kong and in the Hollow Earth. It's Kong's story. Godzilla's he's just there as a side piece until they fight again at the end and beat everyone. You know how it goes. It's the same way that Batman v Superman overshadowed Superman and put him on the sidelines just to make Batman the spotlight and make Batman badass. Let's have Godzilla have his own movie. Godzilla is my guy. I like him more than Kong personally. I'm a fan of his. I like Kong, but I think a Godzilla movie can be better than a Kong movie. Simply because Kong, you know he's going to be like a superhero regardless, because he's got too many human characteristics to him. Godzilla is a different entity altogether. We need to focus on just 2 or 3 characters, all right? I'm not saying it has to be these 2, because I only like one of them, but let's focus on 2, all right? I really want to see him back. Charles Dance from The King of Monsters, and everyone knows him from Game of Thrones and all that stuff. He is such an interesting character. Bring him back. This guy was an eco-terrorist who wanted to release the monsters, and then he's like, oh shit, we fucked up. What a great arc. Bring him back. Let's focus on a few characters. Get her out. I don't want to ever see her again in my screen, alright? We need to... One of the main things, if we want to take anything away from -1, it is this. We need to feel terror from the kaiju. Pacific Rim 1, when these monsters were coming from the ocean and trying to engulf the city in flames, we were like, oh fuck, man, let's get a robot there. Let's get one of these mech armored robots there fast, man. Let's get a Jaeger there, right? We need to feel that again. Except 10 times that. There's an entity that people have been wanting to see, because Legendary has stopped using Toho monsters for some reason and putting their own. We need to go back to Toho with Destroya. The end-all be-all. He is the Thanos of the series, okay? I hope they use it. If they do use Destroya, some guy came up with concept art on Reddit. This is one of the best designs of a creature I've ever seen. Let's use this. This is badass. Whatever they make is going to be inferior to this. This is a badass design. Look, what a demonic... He looks like the devil here. Alright? He needs to be bigger, better. We've already seen this with, Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, but this is different, guys. Let me tell you. We use an arc that's similar to Superman Doomsday. Alright? And if we look at the way that animated movie floated around, it was all build up to the final fight at the end. We weren't doing this thing where, we're going to have multiple fights in between. Godzilla's going to fight, Destroya, lose, then come back, then fight him again, and then come back and finally beat him like he did against Ghidorah. No. We're all building up to the end. Destroya equals the apocalypse. He's a natural disaster everywhere he goes. This will be the end of Godzilla. And yes, guys, Godzilla will die in this. He will. I know people are going to go crazy, like, what? How's the franchise going to go on without Godzilla? Listen, maybe we don't need it to go on, but because of that, we might have better movies. Here, just listen to me, okay? This is how the story's going to go. We have a few years of peace after Godzilla X Kong. Godzilla hasn't fought a bunch of kaiju in a while, let's say, right? Kong is keeping things peaceful down on Hollow Earth. On the surface, Godzilla's got things held down. He's resting now. Now's the time for peace, okay? Godzilla's been growing too, because sitting back doing nothing, just absorbing energy all day, this guy's gonna grow, maybe get a bit fat too, out of shape, but he's gonna be growing. He's not gonna be this. Oh, by the way, don't ignore the slide. He's not gonna be Godzilla Earth size, but he's gonna be bigger. Okay. Remember the oxygen destroyer that they launched at Ghidorah and Godzilla in King of Monsters? Well, let's take a page out of Toho's book when they did this. All right, the origin of Destroya. That oxygen destroyer was so powerful, it started mutating these crustaceans at the bottom. And then they all started fusing together. And it's been like, what, 8-9 years since this event took place, I guess? And over time, they've been building to the perfect creature, the perfect entity that's now rising from the oceans to wreak havoc on Earth. Destroya. Right? And these characters that were responsible for it, the oxygen destroyer, they have to contemplate the fact that they created this thing unknowingly. Alright? Destroy like this is going to be essentially like what Godzilla was in -1. He's going to be the devil. He's not going to be a good guy. He's going to be, I'm tearing everything down. Nothing is stopping me. I am unstoppable. Okay? one of our main characters has to die. We need to just have some consequences, guys. One of our main characters will die from an event, from Destroya coming and wrecking havoc on a city. And this will prompt our characters to go and find Godzilla once again. This Godzilla who's been kind of laid back. No one's kind of heard from him and seen from him in all these years of peace. He's kind of just been doing his own thing down there. And when we do find him, turns out Godzilla's got a kid. Godzilla and Shimu have been under the sheets doing the dirty deed, and now he's got a kid, and he's resting, chilling, taking care of his kid somewhere in an ocean or someplace. And when the humans find him, they're like, "Oh shit! This Godzilla that we've built up as like a god, a superhero that could solve all of our problems whenever we needed. He's really just an animal living his own life like us. He's not just an equalizer of nature. He's got his own, animalistic desires too. He's got a kid now." And he doesn't necessarily want to get back into the fight because he's prioritizing his kid over the humans. Godzilla's like, "Bro, I've helped y'all. So many times. All these years, decades, centuries I've been on this earth, saving you idiots from monsters, stopping the Mecha Godzilla that you guys try to, throw on me, stopping all these entities. I even am teaming up with a freaking ape now to fight these guys. Give me a break." But they can't, right? Because Destroya is coming. So let's say Destroya goes crazy, all right? Absolutely obliterates the city, or maybe he just kills Mothra outright. I know we just brought Mothra back, but let's just kill her off, bro. She doesn't add anything anymore, bro. After the cringe I saw from Godzilla x Kong, where she's part of this ancestry thing, and the little girl is tied to her. No, none of this telepathic BS. Destroya's gonna wipe her out clean, and Mothra's been a friend of Godzilla, so Godzilla's gonna be like, "Oh shit, all right, I gotta rise up now." Maybe we don't need to kill Mothra. Maybe he just obliterates the city and he gets too close to Godzilla's son. And Godzilla's son is at risk now. Godzilla's like, "All right, this guy's a threat to me, my son. Everyone on Earth is getting obliterated. I'm coming." And it all leads up to the fight. Now, this fight's not going to be like the Mechagodzilla fight where Godzilla's just getting thrashed and then he comes back at the end. No, this is going to be a very even fight. The only problem is Destroyer doesn't go down. Even if he does go down, he heals. He's got a regenerative healing factor that's beyond Godzilla's. He's like Doomsday. He doesn't die. Everything you try to throw at him, he adapts to it. That is the biggest problem. Godzilla can actually shoot this guy and throw him around, but he doesn't have unlimited stamina. Destroya does, because Destroya heals. So Destroya, at some point, will start beating the living shit out of Godzilla. Godzilla's going to tear into him a little bit, but Destroya will heal. We'll think that Godzilla's whooping this guy, but no, Destroya is just healing and waiting until Godzilla's like, "Oh fuck, god damn it, this guy's not going down," and then Destroya will just go off. All right, and then we'll see maybe Destroya is about to obliterate the entire world. Okay, Hollow Earth itself is about to crack open because of the damage that's being done by these two fighting, and Godzilla will have to go to his craziest form, maybe some universal form. And that's what it's going to take to incinerate Destroya, but it'll kill Godzilla in the process because Godzilla's already dying in this fight with Destroya. So both of them will fight until both of them die, and Godzilla will eventually kill Destroya, but also himself die, sacrificing himself for his son in the process. And our boy dies. He's not going to die and then come back. He's dead, definitively dead. And in the wake of this disaster, remember in the Toho version, Destroya murders Godzilla's son, which makes, and then Godzilla has to avenge him. I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to say Godzilla himself dies. Now, Hollow Earth will break open as a result of the cataclysmic event of Godzilla overpowering himself to the point where he lets out a large, implosion that destroys the barrier between our world and Hollow Earth. Okay, so Destroya dies, Godzilla dies, and the consequences of this are, well, Destroya's dead now, but Hollow Earth, there's a hole open. Like in Stranger Things, when the Upside Down, they blew a hole into it after defeating Vecna, and now there's an entryway into the other world, which is potentially dangerous for humans because there's so many kaiju down there in the Hollow Earth. They're all going to come up now. That's what's happened now. So all these monsters, this is where we're going to set up the Kong's movie now. Kong solo movie, because now all these monsters from Hollow Earth that Kong was dealing with, and while he's living with this clan of apes, they're all going to Earth now, to our planet, and trying to come. They're picking off at humans, so now Kong has to come and deal with this shit. That's where we get the Kong's next solo movie. It's perfectly set up. This is gonna be like a God of War Kratos like story, where Kong and his little ape friend are gonna come and throw down with these monsters. And it's a lot of monsters that they throw down with. This is like a journey where it's almost too much because Godzilla's Kong has to take over now that Godzilla's dead. Kong has to cover for Godzilla, you know? And maybe we can have these main characters return, but only a few of them. Remember, 2 at a time, 2, 3 main ones at a time. But this is Kong's story because Kong is human enough where you can make him your primary protagonist. And this is going to be about him trying to balance saving humans and saving his own clan. And they will probably have to relocate on Skull Island too at this point. But yeah, he's got to balance saving the humans from the kaiju, but also stopping his own clan from being exploited by the outside world. It's a really great story. Okay? It's a really great story because it is Kong's story. He's got to battle this inner conflict. And they will relocate on Skull Island. We're not going to have this thing where Godzilla's going to come back down, you know, return Infinity War style like Thor did and say, I'm back, bitches, and come to help Kong. No. I know that might be cool, and we might want it, but I don't think we need a team up, all right? You've seen Godzilla come back pretty much from the dead after in King of Monsters, all right? This is Kong's story. Now, is this the end of the series with these last 2 movies now that Godzilla's dead and, you know, Kong saving the Earth and relocating to Skull Island? Maybe not. Maybe you can build up the kid, Kong's son, as a new Godzilla, but honestly, I think that we should leave it there. We don't really need more than 2 more of these monster movies. We can just do a show or something. I think this is the end. It should be the end. That's how I would do the next 2 movies. I would not make it a Godzilla and Kong movie. I'd split them now. We already had 2 of them. We've already seen them fight. How many more times do you want to see this, right? I think we should have a really good dramatic Godzilla Destroyer movie where Godzilla dies. I think that'd be a really good movie too, with great characters. And then Kong having to fight all this on his own and clean up the mess from the first one, all right? If you're a fan of monsters, okay, and a fan of upcoming monster projects, I would say check out my latest video on the upcoming Alien TV series and where that might go, because I think it might go to shit, but I found a way to maybe solve that problem too.